Hi, my name is Bhaskar Iswaran. I live in Sydney, Australia. I've lived there for 38 years. I'm a serial entrepreneur, but I was born in Chennai, Madras. Yeah. Actually, it's been a very interesting journey. I was first introduced to the Appaswamy Group about 7-8 years ago when I invested in a couple of properties at a different site, which is called Mandarina. And that was the start of a journey for me where I initially thought of just buying 1 or 2 properties that I could leave for my children at a future date. But then when I discovered Clover, I saw there was some really significant opportunities. And it started off initially with me committing to buy a first, and then I committed to a second, and now I'm buying my third and fourth apartment at Clover. Number of things. One is the location is amazing. Chennai is a bustling city with a lot of traffic, so this location is amazingly convenient for whether it's to get to the airport. It's very central to the city and it's close to a lot of amenities. And as a overseas based investor, that became very critical for me because in terms of trying to target the right kind of tenants and the clientele, location played a very critical role. Also, Appaswamy has a track record of building very high quality buildings and apartments. They take care of the design. Clover has some unique amenities that I've not come across in other competing sites. So that combination of quality of amenities, the quality of finish, the design, the location, all made for an amazing proposition. Well, I've got a lot to say about that because I've now dealt with them for over 7 years, and I've almost consistently dealt with the same team throughout that period for all the transactions. And that to me itself is testimony to the quality of the company because people stay. And it's always convenient for me as someone based overseas to know that I'm dealing with competent professionals and to be able to build a relationship with them. It's just easy for me. If I'm overseas as an issue, I can pick up the phone, talk to them. They're very prompt responding to email. And then of course, when I'm in the country, the service is always phenomenal. One of the reasons Clover in particular appealed to me is the kind of demographic and target client that it really appeals to. In particular, international expats love this site. The location, the amenities, just works for them. And it's very convenient for them to get to their place of work. And many of the people living overseas prefer high-rise living, so that works for them. It's a very large site. There's plenty of play areas. There's a swimming pool. So again, for young families with children, it becomes a very safe environment as well. So that package becomes very attractive. What I did find though, it's also necessary then, Appaswamy has taken care of the foundation in terms of a foundation of investment strategy. They've taken care of the location, the quality of the build, the amenities, etc. I, as the property owner, then need to make sure the internal fittings and finishes are of a standard that appeals to the international audience. So I do incur a higher expense up front, but what I find the rental yields are then much better. So I'm getting yields over 5%. In fact, I think on my apartments 3 and 4, once they're let out, I'll be looking at yields closer to 7.5%, which is typically unheard of in the Chennai market, but the property and the package works. I now know that I have a business model that works as an investor because I've now been able to replicate it, which is the most important thing for me as an entrepreneur. I'd like to know that I can scale or repeat the success of the business model. So now that I've worked out the business model, it's going to be a question of timing and opportunity. I always make it a point to keep track of what they do release. I'm on the mailing list, so I always get the emails and then I make inquiries as and when appropriate. The other critical element that played a fundamental role in my ability to actually succeed in this investment strategy were the referrals made by the Appaswamy Group themselves. So when I was looking at opportunities, I had to find people to assist with interior design, and they put me onto a phenomenal team that have taken care of multiple properties for me. Similarly, they referred me to someone that's worked with them for decades. He's taken care of the interior work for all my properties. I needed access to or contacts for a broker. They put me in touch with someone who is much more than just a broker. He doubles up as a property manager for me. And that becomes critical, particularly when you're dealing with international clientele. And I, as the property manager, do not live in the country. I need to know that any problems are addressed promptly and professionally. So it's the combination of all these elements that makes the strategy work. And I do have to credit Appaswamy for the kind referrals, because the success of the investment strategy has hinged on those referrals.